Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am very honored to be here today, and we're going to be visiting with Todd and Emily of C4, Emily Warren and Todd Stabelfeldt. And we did have, thank you for your patience, we had a quick minute where we had to figure out how we were going to present this, and so anyway, we've kind of given everybody a glimpse into what C4 is, but what I'd like you to do, Todd, is just kind of at the outset of the interview, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a glimpse into your personal life.
Yeah, sounds good. If at any point you can't hear me, just, say something.
Okay,
or Emily, you can text me, I guess, as well. All right, so... And Lance, it's Stabelfeldt. Okay, not Stabelfeldt. Right, in kindergarten, it was Stableface. But I'm a grown man now. It's back to Stabelfeldt.
Okay.
So, what's my daily routine, dude? I have a circus for a life, and I have no regrets. So the high level. Grew up in a really, really Navy, Southern German household.
Really? Okay.
Failure, not an option. Yep, failure, not an option. Performance-based. Sort of love was based on performance and how well you do. And that's just the way it was, man. And so that taught me a lot. My dad died when I was 4. And then sadly, I got shot when I was 8, resulting in quadriplegia. So I can't feel or move from my neck down. And after being home, after a year in the hospital or so, my mom said, "Tough love. You have until you're 20, then you got to be out of the house.
Really?
Job or in school." She said, "I didn't choose to play with guns, and I didn't shoot you. So, this is called tough love." And it was sort of a yes, ma'am. Okay. Right. So,
oh my goodness.
What do you say when you're 9, right? Okay, so
I can't even imagine.
Yes, ma'am. Fast forward to 14, my mom got married. I got a dad out of that deal, 2 brothers and a sister, and absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. I finally got to see what a real man is like, and how men demonstrate quality and integrity. That's my dad. His name's Dan Alverts. Just a solid man. And, because I'm, super crippled, which is real, right? You can't get away from that.
Yeah.
My parents were like, well, what are you going to do now? I mean, you wanted to be a Navy SEAL. You wanted to be in this Secret Service, right? I was a 6-year-old little dude, and I worked out every day because I was doing the buttons. I mean, even though I was a little man, I had a whole plan for my life. And it was in the active service, and so I thought I'd become a psychiatrist after I got crippled. But what disabled dude goes to med school? And I wanted to go to Berkeley in California, right? Med vision. Okay. So parents said you might want to have a backup plan, and so I explored a backup plan. Ended up going to college when I was a teenager in high school, so I was all done with everything at 17. Sadly, I become emancipated from my parents because of the way the government works, or the way, rather, the government doesn't work. And I began to realize quickly that my life was, I needed to make money. I needed a job. Mm-hmm. And I said, screw being a psychiatrist and going to Berkeley. And that's not going to pay the bills up front. So there's this thing called the internet. And it was in the 90s. And there was about 100,000 websites. So I learned how to do software development, graduated everything at 17, got a job at 18.
Wow.
Fast forward 15 years or so, I'm now 38. I have my own company. I work with Emily, who's my left and right arm and everything, and married, 2 kids, 2 dogs, a cat I don't want. Out there today that wants a cat, let me know. And I have a fantastic life.
I appreciate you providing a vantage point of what life is like. I remember hearing you speak at that conference in Washington, D.C., and one thing that stuck with me that really helped me to appreciate, the body is you talked about how if you have an itch in your body, that's tough. There's nothing you can do about that. And I just thought, boy, all the things that people take for granted, and you have demonstrated in your life someone who has become a creator of circumstances, someone who is determined to develop the quality of life, with or without the people that that were in your life, right?
Absolutely.
I just have a question about that tough love model. And now that you have children and you're married, in your own personal life, how has growing up with that tough love type of a mentality changed how you treat other people?
Lance, I married the United States Navy. And if I'm tough, you should meet baby girl, right? It's a tip ship, in the cathedral, and we live a life, and man, everybody's valuable, everybody's worthy, and everybody should be putting groceries on the table. Bottom line, there's no excuse, and
right.
That way, my wife was raised that way. We raise our children that way, and I have absolutely no problem with that. I'm a stern man and a stepdad. It's all about rules and reg. And yes, there's love, and yes, there's affirmation and bouquets. But just because you show up doesn't mean you get an award. It's all about the sweat equity.
Well, fair enough. I thank you for putting us all in check.
Got it.
I've seen 2 videos now of how Apple technology has helped you in your home life and with your business. Would you mind unpacking that a little bit and sharing with us on how you utilize that in your life?
Absolutely. Yeah, iOS 7 changed the game 4 years ago, and that was about the time I started my business. So prior to iOS, man, I was rolling deep, in the BlackBerry, and that BlackBerry did like 3 things. It would tell me my signal strength. It would tell me my battery level. I could do some name dial and some bit dial. And I thought I was up in the club with the BlackBerry, but it was crap. So when iOS 7 came out, changed the game, and baby girl and I were talking about it. She was like, you need to tell the world. And I said, boo, I don't want to. I got work to do. And she's like, no, you're made for service. You need to tell the world. So we did, man. Talk about a maniacal focus. We went to every Apple store we could figure out. In fact, when you saw me in DC, bro, what do you think happened the next day? I was at the Apple store.
Oh yeah, we did a download at the Georgetown Apple store the next day for all the
Apple. Oh really?
Yes.
Yep. Cool. Before the store opened up.
Yep. It's pretty awesome.
And prior to DC, baby girl wanted to go to Pennsylvania. What do you think we did in Pennsylvania? We had another Apple store. We were just preaching the message, and and Apple heard, and Apple listened, and Apple's a fantastic company, regardless of what people say or what their implementations and visions are. They listen.
I agree.
And more importantly, they demonstrate.
Yeah, and when Todd did those downloads, I think it was just awesome. It's just like some of those employees didn't even know these features existed. And it was just eye-opening. I think that was very crucial in doing these store downloads to the employees who are working with the people on the streets. So.
Yeah. And for people that don't know what you mean by store downloads, you were going in and you were sharing with people how Apple has impacted your way of living and doing business. Is that what you're you're talking about?
Todd would go in there and use his iPhone to connect to an Apple TV. I think that's what it was. And show him how he could use the switch control functions. And pretty awesome. You know, some of those people are like, oh, that's how that works. You know, I mean, because able-bodied people don't use that function. And so it was just pretty awesome to be able to see that and see it in action and working and be able to do it.
Oh, yeah. What a game changer for people that just download apps for games and then to see somebody using it in real life.
Yes.
Let me jump in here for a second. So we would do this on a weekly basis, and we would go into this store before it opened. And I actually started, I think, with an iPhone 5, an iOS 7. I can't quite remember, but yeah, we would just connect my phone to their network, and then I would just walk through and do a demonstration and show them and teach them. Again, this was all new, Lance. And on a ship that size, it does take a while for information to travel. And so it was a very, very Lewis and Clark, being able to show people this and then people showing me something else. And it was like, wow, this is super radical, for 3 or 4 years. And now America is getting to see, in real life with stuff that I've done, and Carlos and Ian and Mira. And it's some pretty radical stuff right now with disability awareness, as well as making sure that, okay, great, you have a disability. Yeah, that really sucks, and I'm sorry. But here's some tools to help you be independent and to be marketable. Go take your skills and go do it.
Do you mind sharing with the audience what some of those tools have been that have helped you in your personal life, and then some that have helped you in your business life?
Absolutely. In fact, I'll tell you, I'll give you one of mine, and I'll give you one of my boys, Dreadlock, because this is straight up legit. And I don't know if you've seen his vids out right now, but you should be exploring him. He actually made it to TV commercials and stuff.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Ian Mackay. So Emily, make sure you get Lance a couple of those links so you can check them out.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, great.
So
thank you.
I'm more business, bro. So it was, it's more like emails, texting, things like that. Obviously my home is automated, so I use different apps to like HomeKit and DW Spectrum and things like that. But that's all what I do. It's all about business for me. It's phone calls, headsets, texts, emails, calendars, reminders. My boy Ian, he actually tipped over in his wheelchair. He's a C2 quadriplegic, and the app Friend Finder saved him because he was in a bad sales spot at that time, so he didn't have enough strength to use Siri. And because he tipped over and he's on his face now.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing to use the phone, right? So his mom had noticed that in the app, his position, his GPS, it hadn't moved. And it was like 9 o'clock at night. He wanted to go for a quick night ride. And so he tipped over. Position didn't move. And about 20 minutes later, his mom's like, something's wrong. So she went out and found him. And sure enough, he had tipped over.
Oh my goodness!
Crazy.
I mean, what a lifesaver, literally in that case. And people would never realize. I mean, my dad travels the country, and I like to check on his location just to see where he's at every once in a while. But Friend Finder, I mean, that just takes it to a completely different level. Well, I want to. So I moved a little bit faster. I actually want to ask Emily if she'd mind giving us a little glimpse into her personal life and share with us how you've come to support C4 and Todd specifically.
Gotcha. Well, I have known Todd for almost 20 years. We met back when we were both 17, 18 years old.
Oh, okay.
My history is in a pathology lab. I worked there for around 7 years here in Nashville. And then the software that Todd worked for, the software company out of Seattle, we actually used their software. So we had a really good working relationship.
Okay.
Years, went to work for them doing tech support, worked myself up in the company, and just, ready to move on to the next chapter. And Todd had started a database management company and just ready to get back to my core of doing database and, as Todd likes to call us, plumbing and plumbers and just serving and taking care of the patient at that, granular level, in the databases. And so, got back to doing that and still live in Nashville. Married, have a little girl who's 7, and
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
quite crazy. And it's good to be still in session, or she'd be here, screaming and carrying on. And yeah, so love Nashville, love working with Todd, and just love being able to take care of the patients. And that's really where it's at. And with Todd, with being able to be independent and do the business side of things, we can work 3,000 miles apart. And so it's
Right.
pretty great what technology can do for us, personally and professionally. So a little bit about myself.
Well, thank you for sharing. And would you mind, either one of you, giving us maybe a glimpse into something within your profession that people don't typically know about what you're doing?
So, well, Todd, do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
No, you go first, Lauren, and I'll supplement if need be.
All right. So within the database management, which is our core competency, we do, other things. We'll do like time and material stuff with building interfaces and so forth. But I think the important thing is that, people people don't realize where their information goes, or if it's being taken care of, or if it's being backed up, unless something catastrophic happens, and then they can't get to that patient information, specifically in the healthcare area, which are the style of databases we manage. And so I think it's, systems get installed, everything seems fine, but you don't know if it's really working. There's no insurance policy. And that's how Todd look at it, is that we're an insurance policy for that data, and specifically patient data, making sure it is HIPAA compliant, making sure you're not going to be hit by a virus or ransomware, or, everything else that gets hacked, on the daily. Right now that you hear about. And so I think that's a big thing that people just don't know until it happens. And several of our clients, because they got hit with ransomware and it locked up all their files.
Wow.
Like, hey, help us, what do we do? Now we have to pay in Bitcoin or, some other, crazy way. And so it's just really awareness of that data is important. It's not, to me, it's just different because it's, it could be someone's mother or father or, friend or whatever. I think you have to look at it at that level. That's how I look at it, and I believe Todd does the same thing in that sense. It's just really taking care of that information.
It's interesting that you talk about ransomware and these types of things taking place where you've actually heard about some of the consequences and the results. Here we hear about breaches all the time within healthcare compliance, but a very unique vantage point that you have, and people are definitely being affected if things are being held up for ransom.
For sure.
Would you add anything to what was said, Todd?
Yeah, I would just go back to sort of what she was saying earlier. I just refer to us as digital plumbers.
I like that.
People don't really want to hang out with plumbers, but they want to know a plumber. And when it hits the fan, right, you want to be able to make that phone call. And so what we're trying to do and trying to demonstrate is a very proactive insurance policy. We're not reactive. Why would you pay us to be reactive?
Right.
You pay us to be proactive. And so, we're the amount of alerts and the amount of code that we've written and some great tools that we've partnered with and purchased. We're just full service, 24/7, DBA administration. And yeah, it's data. Initially our business started with patient data, but it's grown from there into any real database administration, philosophy into our clients' practices or hospitals or labs. We can watch anything and manage anything that has a database. So we've definitely scaled, to meet our customers' requests. And I think that's what's funny to me is that our business has grown completely organically. It's all grassroots, all those fun cliches. And it's only been because the customers asked us. And this year, starting in July, we offer C4's online services platform. So we have a presence now with a web portal and being able to do, full delivery wear, of what we call in this industry the commodity, which is the report, right? What's wrong with you? So we want to be able to deliver that in any shape possible. So we're based on what our customers ask.
Congratulations. That's really exciting. And that launches in July, you said?
In July, we'll have that online and have clients start pushing their patient reports through it. It'll be an interface delivery mechanism as well, remote order entry. So really just getting into that global space. And that's where, like Todd said, it's very organic. Clients ask, we listen. And so we just really branching off into that and really trying to service the client and the doctors.
Fantastic. Thanks for adding to that, Emily. I'm wondering if, one of the things that our listeners may be wondering is about some of the challenges that may have developed in the beginning of your company. Certainly people are interested to know about how people overcome a lot of the difficulties in starting a business. Would you take us back to a time when you failed in the company, some challenge that you really had to overcome?
Yeah. Well, that's easy. I think every book on how not to start a business. And then they could write a second book on who not to partner with. Right?
Okay.
So, absolutely, man. Lance, when I left my previous employer, who I worked my bones for years, considered mentors, appreciated everything, learned a ton.
Okay.
And I just couldn't do it anymore. It was my colleague. She was dying, and when she passed away, she told me to man up and go do something different. And I listened. She passed away, and I quit. And so I didn't know what I was going to do, bro. I thought I was going to be just a comedian, maybe a blogger. And the reality was I wasn't so good at writing. I wasn't real good at telling jokes. And
okay.
What's your marketable skill? And it's like, well, database. And then people are like, you're a ding dong. Why would you be a database administrator but call your business C4? That's an explosive, right? That's what you're selling.
Oh, really? That's interesting that people would say that.
Yeah. I was trying to be funny, right? There you go. That's how great of a comedian I am. And so I went, okay, I need to rethink this approach. And then what hit me really hard was the reality and demonstration. If you demonstrate quality and integrity, things happen. They might not be fast, but through demonstration, things do occur.
And what do you mean by demonstration?
So, and Emily will tell you, and thank God for Emily. She fits the same canoe. Dude, this is nothing about me or a platform. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. I wanted to be in the Secret Service. I wanted to serve people. Well, guess what I get to do now, Lance? I get to serve millions of people. Yeah. They're never going to know me. I'm never going to know them. But I get to take care of them. Those are real vivid stories to me and Emily. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And when you get to demonstrate that every day, and if you're humble, and it's not about anything else other than taking care of the patient, people will see that, whether it be professionally or personally. And over time, through demonstration, things happen. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah,
well, I appreciate you sharing that.
When you stay humble and you stay in that space, it's just opening it's just eye-opening how just doors open, where you're supposed to be, where you're not supposed to be. And I think it's just, always trying to stay in that space, making sure we're always taking care of the patient.
Everything that's taking place. And so we appreciate the opportunity to, again, pull back the veil and give people a glimpse into your lives and to help people understand what happens on a daily basis to serve all the people that you do. And what would you say, we'll start with Emily this time. What would you say, Emily, has been a personal habit that has contributed to the success that you've seen in C4?
A personal habit. I think it's just always keeping, and I know we've said this so many times, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's just keeping really the focus of what we do. It's not trying to get off into a space where we don't really know, or it's not our game. There's many other solutions out there to fill those other needs. And it's really just on, what is 24/7, and it is important. And it's just not a piece of paper. It's, someone And, Todd and I have both been touched, personally. And I think everybody has, passed away or got diagnosed with cancer. And I think you really just keep at the forefront as you just continue to push forward. That's what keeps me going every day.
Well, I appreciate that you are talking about the focus, because at the end of the day, if you don't understand your why, all these how-tos that you do on a day-to-day basis, they don't make much sense, and it's really challenging to move forward.
It can be, for sure. If you lose focus of that, then you just start flailing around, and then you don't really have a purpose or have a need. And so it's always, you got to keep focused. You got to keep just digging in that trench and just keep pushing forward.
Todd, would you add to that? Well, I guess the question really is directed to you too. Todd, what would you say has been a personal habit that's contributed to your success?
To know who I am. Who is Todd Stabelfeldt? And he's not this little crippled kid, right?
Yeah.
Little baby whining about how his world got flipped upside down. I didn't ask to get shot. He shot me. And walking through that PhD of pain and suffering and coming out the other end with, I'm a grown man. And I'm real, and I'm legit, and I'm comfortable with who I am. And when I hit that place, brother, my whole game, yeah. And I got no regrets. So personally, get up every day and do you. And be who you are. Don't stray from the path. And when your wife tells you better man up in an area, you best do it. And then,
well, that is very true. About what you said about the wife. I would totally agree there. I brought up, anytime I bring up things that I want to be more accountable to, I've learned to think very carefully about what type of things I want to be more accountable to. So what are some of the, in your company, what are some of the alternatives to a service like C4's data management consulting services?
Well, Lance, that's a beautiful question.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely, man. When I left my previous employer, and they're a radical company too. It's not a negative thing. It was time to be different, time to change. I had this feeling that databases were just taken care of. That's sort of what I thought. And then I realized that, no, that's not the way that works. And then just being able to discover that space of, whoa, there's a lot out here. And there's like, well, who else is doing it? And there's another righteous company, DataVal, out of Colorado, and I'll speak their praises to the end. They're like 500-600 employees. So you just got me and Emily, right? So yeah, we have competition, and we just do what we do, and we're supposed to go after this. So most people have no idea what's going on with healthcare, IT, specifically data, and where that data rests and sits. And I think that is something that's unveiling, and I would say in the next 2 to 3 years, I think there'll be more database administration gigs. I think people will be thinking about data differently. More importantly, how they restore their data when something goes wrong. Because the bottom line is something's going to go wrong. It's not if, it's more when. We try to control the when as best we can, but we need to know that if it does happen, how do we get back? And that's the other part that blows my mind. Is that and rightly so, expert trust experts. That was a good term back in the day, and it's a true one. Mm-hmm. You're a doctor. You really shouldn't be worried about this, But at the same time, you should be cognizant that this is real, and you better get a plan, because your responsibility taking care of that patient. And if you're not making sure you're doing your data right, then guess what? You ain't taking care of the patient.
That's right.
Yeah, Emily, would you mind talking about your solution in terms of when you talk with these providers, what are the steps that they take to become integrated into C4's data management solution?
So for a client on the back end, it's with the SQL database, and so if they contact us, we do what we call a health check. So we want to see what the health of the database is in its current format before we start applying our services to it. We provide them that report, go over it with them, just really point out where they need the management or they need the data integrity services for us to watch their databases. A lot of times it'll show that things aren't even getting backed up, or patches haven't been applied appropriately to the SQL server and so forth. So we go over that, and then we just lay out the plan of how we manage and watch those databases on a 24/7. We have jobs that run and do various different things. I'll keep that at a super high level. I don't want to get down, in the technical weeds. And so we keep those jobs, they run, they report back daily. If there's errors or failures or anything needs to be, then we look at it, address it, meet with the client if necessary, and just, like I said, it's an insurance policy, check the information that is getting entered, and on a daily basis. So that's what we do at high level. That piece of it. Go ahead. Sorry. Okay.
So with a healthcare provider that may be tuning in who would have some interest in receiving an assessment, how do they receive an assessment? Is it over the phone, or would you email them something, or is it going to be on the website that's launching in July?
We currently have our database management services. That's what we currently do. The report delivery is what's launching in July, but they could reach out to us, contact us. We would, meet with them on a phone call, gain access to their SQL server, get with their IT group, explain what we're going to do, and then email them the assessment and schedule a meeting and go over it with them and their IT. We want to make sure that they have a solid IT solution in place as well. We're not there installing printers and taking care of monitors. We're at at the DBA level, database administration level. And so we want to make sure that they have IT that can, facilitate and assist as well, getting us access and, just roll out these different services on the database server.
Okay. What size of healthcare practices do you typically work with?
Todd, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. And let me just hit one item on that previous question.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that anybody listening, we don't replace IT.
Correct.
We add to IT. We're a value add. So that's their sandbox.
That's important to say that.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely important. Because again, they're being taken care of and cared for, and we all got our roles and whatnot. So just make sure we stress that a value add, not a replacement.
Correct.
And after that assessment is done, they could either have us do it or their IT people could do it. It's not like the assessment's attached or anchored to us. No, man, this is moving. This is the patient's getting cared for. To answer the question as far as practice, we as little as just a couple, pathologists, on up to reference labs, hospitals. We tried getting into the clinic space, and we still could do that, like an actual individual doctor's office, because every EMR now is starting to go, that route, and they're billing stuff or whatever. But for whatever reasons, we're not quite sure yet, but we still try to make sure they know we're available. But mainly at this point in our story, it's labs, small to enormous, and hospitals, sort of at that 200 bed level. So.
Okay, great. I think that really helps because some practices listening in just might not know. So thank you for sharing that. Well, we wanted to talk now just to get back into a couple last questions about both of you, and then we'll conclude if that's okay. One question I like to ask people is, what are 3 things that have become absolute truths for you in your life? And so I wonder if Todd, we could start with you. I know you've kind of introduced something that's become a life truth for you, but if you wouldn't mind sharing those 3 with us.
You want my 3 truths about life? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, that's what he's asking.
Cool. Simple. 1, Jesus. 2, Karen Stabelfeldt. 3, Emily Warren. There you go.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think when you said Jesus, you were also saying to know yourself. I love that you said that. I think that's something that more people need to understand, is how important it is to love yourself and to know yourself and to realize your own value and your ability to contribute and to influence in this world, and that it's unique.
Correct.
Okay, Emily, would you mind sharing?
Yeah, no, mine are not definitely not far off that base. It's, just love yourself and, just do you. And, Jesus is a big part of my story as well. I think it's just, don't let other things try to bring you down. Just really, you got to do your life, family, and just family as a whole. I think, not trying just to name one aspect of it, because in my story, it takes a village to run my life. And I wouldn't be able to do this without everybody, pulling together and really doing that for me. And just life. I mean, I want to get up every day and love what I do. I don't ever want to be that punching the time card 9 to 5, just like, this is no fun. Yeah. And that's just important. And I'm so glad that I can do this, do that now. I just love what I do. I love our clients. I love being able to take care of others. That's a big part of just who I am. And so those are my 3 truths I just live by every day.
Yeah. So just how your definition of entrepreneurship has changed from the beginning of C4 to today.
Okay. At the beginning, I accepted everything and anything. I had no idea who I was, so it was all yes, and it didn't matter what the question was. Hungry, established, get out there. And one of my clients told me one time, her name was Veronica. She said, "Man, you'd be a really good employee, but you really suck at being a consultant."
That's hilarious.
She's like, "You don't know who you are yet. You're just flailing." She goes, "Know who you are and know what you do, and then you attract that customer base. Not every customer is going to be right." And whoever said that comment is completely false. And so do what you do. So, you fast forward 5 years and I know what I do, and I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at. And that's sort of where I'm at now with me as an entrepreneur. It goes back to the truths and stuff. Just know you. And then more, don't talk about it. Do you? You gotta have you gotta have demonstration behind the action and whatnot. So
yeah. I was going to say, there's a quote that says, "If it's up to me," and that's part of what I gather in you saying, "Do you," right?
Yep.
You got to do what you do best with what you were given. Emily, would you add anything to that?
No, I just completely agree. I just think you just have to know who you are and just do it. I mean, don't get caught up in what someone else is doing. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. My 7-year-old that all the time, and I think that really can relate to adults. We just have to do what our strengths are and do it well.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thank you so much, Todd. If you'd leave us with some parting advice, and then we will close up.
Absolutely simple. 2 quadriplegics walk on a bar. Okay, didn't get the joke.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Buddy.
Oh,
That was a great joke.
parting words.
Parting words. There you go.
Well, thank you, and thanks so much for those of you that have tuned in to this podcast. This is a Dr. Entrepreneur podcast, and to our guests, Todd and Emily, thanks so much, and hope everybody makes it a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.